And what's up, everybody? I'm back with another stadium review. Today we are reviewing Rynearson. I'm gonna call it Rynearson Stadium in Ypsilanti, Michigan. This is the home of Eastern Michigan football. Yes, another MAC stadium. This is the third one that I've seen, and the third and final one in Michigan that I've seen. I saw all three of them over the course of about 2 months, which is pretty cool. I took in the sights and sounds of Tuesday night action of Western at Eastern. Gotta say, it was a little chilly. I don't know if I'd do it again. I'll probably end up doing it again at some point, but it was pretty fun, not gonna lie. Got a lot to talk about, though, with this stadium. I was able to explore it pretty thoroughly for what we had. It helped it wasn't very crowded, and there's not really a whole lot to see, so yeah, here we go. It's my fourth college football stadium overall, third in the MAC. So how did I think it went? Got a lot of thoughts. Let's just jump right into it, shall we? First off, I mean, I don't think I've had a cheaper outing at a venue, at least for one that's not MSU. Between my ticket, a drink that I purchased, parking, all that, $12. And actually, parking was free, which is crazy. But I mean, they just have like this giant lot across the street from the stadium. You can park anywhere. There's not even anybody like taking any, not even anybody sitting out front. You just park there and you go into this game. It's so simple. It doesn't work like that for the Big Ten, but for Tuesday night action, you know what? It works. It was super easy to get out. Not as easy to get in. That was mostly because of just regular daytime traffic, and also I don't really like night driving that much. And yeah, but getting out was a lot easier than I honestly thought it was going to. But also, and just, you know, getting to and from the stadium in general for football game days was pretty easy. I think it was even better than Western or Central. And I know Western was a kind of an outlier, but even like Central, it was better than that one too. And also just such a cheap experience for an $8 ticket. Where else are you going to find an $8 ticket for a Division I college football game? Like, come on, that is just absolutely insane pricing. And then the pop was $4. It was a large pop too. It's like a movie theater style cup pop with bendy straws. They had fucking bendy straws. What places anymore have fucking bendy straws? All right, I cannot tell you how excited I was. You can kind of see it in the vlog. I did do a vlog, by the way, of the stadium. You can go check that out. It's been out for a few days now, I think. You can go check that out. I've never been so excited for a bendy straw. It was crazy. Like, places just don't do bendy straws anymore, it feels like. Maybe because it's only for kids. I don't know. But here they do bendy straws, and that was pretty cool. But, you know, $4 for a drink for a stadium is not terrible. So made a fairly cheap outing, which was nice. So the affordability is definitely on display, though, across the stadium. I mean, the operations are pretty bare bones. I mean, nothing that caught me off guard. It wasn't anything that was like super unsafe. But they definitely do keep it quite minimal. And even like the area around the stadium is very condensed. Like, all the athletic facilities are tied to one another. Like, you have on one end zone, you have the team practice facilities and locker rooms and whatnot, and the baseball stadium. And on the other side, you have the basketball arena, right? It's all just like super interconnected, which I think is cool because it gives off this more like complex feeling to it. And also just like, it's cool just to like see the basketball arena. You can look like right into the basketball arena from the football concourse, which is honestly kind of cool. You don't get that many places, especially in Division I. And that was pretty nice. Um, I do have, obviously, with like concourse and stadium navigation itself, I do have a couple of things to bring up. Like Central and also like Western. Well, Western, I guess you can, I guess, do a full lap around Western. It's not ideal, but you can do it. But like at Central, you can't do a full lap here at Eastern because of the team locker room being on the one side. It's also, you really can't get super close to the field because the sidelines here are massive, and honestly reminded me of the outfield, like foul area of the Oakland Coliseum when the A's were playing there, because of how it was structured with the Raiders playing there. It was so huge, and it felt like that here too. Especially like even on just like the home and visitor sidelines, there was like circled and massive, and that is because they do have a running track for their track and field program that's worked right into the stadium, and then they just throw some fake turf on top for football game days. So that's why it's so massive, but it did get off Oakland Coliseum vibes for sure. And even in the end zones, you can't even get that close. Like the locker rooms are in the one end zone, and then the other end zone, because of the basketball arena is so far back and there's a giant tunnel underneath, you can't even get that close. In fact, you're farther away going on the railings in the end zone than you are in the sidelines, which is, interesting. I will give my thoughts on the visitors side of the stadium too, because we spent some our seats. We did have reserved seats. There's no general admission seating here unless you're in the student section. There really wasn't much of a student section to talk about, but there was supposed to be one, I guess. But we spent our seat. We have reserved seats again. No GA seating. We were on the front row of the end zone of the visitors, the home sideline, right? It was fine, but we wanted to walk around. It was a little crowded around our area because the concourse walkway in front of it is so massive that people are just crowding it the whole time. Well, not really crowding it, but they're just walking in front, which made it really hard to film, which was annoying. But it also made it hard just to watch the game in general. So we went over to the visitor sideline at halftime, and that was more enjoyable because it was a little more open. Also, the fact that half of that part of the stadium is tarped off and it looks abandoned. Um, I mean, when we were walking around pre-game, you go into the concourse and it's just completely desolate. There's no concession stands open. You can go into the bathrooms, but that's about it. You can go to your seats and you see people. But like just walking on the concourse, I mean, the lights are on, but nobody's home. And it is honestly quite eerie of a feeling. I would call it that. I get that attendance at Eastern Michigan football games isn't necessarily doing so hot. Tarping the stadium off is not the way to fix that. I can't give them too much for dog on it because Eastern's one of the worst collegiate athletic programs of all time. So also the stairs in the stadium. Oh my god. Now this is mostly pertaining to the home sideline. The stairs, best thing that I can compare it to is when you go to the Breslin Center, and climb those stairs, right? Imagine doing a straight climb from the court level all the way up to the rafters. That's about what you have to do to get to that's about how many stairs are at Eastern Stadium, right? And climbing those bad boys, no railings here, nothing, no nada, no railings. My legs are extremely sore from doing that. I don't know why we decided to do that. I don't know what views we thought we would get, but it was not fun, and I don't think it was really worth it, to be honest with you. They're huge. I don't get why stairs have to be that big. I really don't. They do it correctly on the visitor sideline. Why does it have to be that big? I really don't know. And would it kill you to put railings in? Come on. But going back to concessions a little bit, the variety of concessions is about what you would expect. I do want to comment on the amount of Little Caesars stands there were. There's pretty obvious going to a game that Eastern has two massive athletic donors. Water Tower Brewing Company, whatever that may be, and Little Caesars. Because that's all the ads they run during the game. And I guess they did a little bit of Kroger stuff too. So that's Water Tower Brewing Company, Little Caesars, and Kroger. There's so many Little Caesar stands. I mean, the concourse is not big. The concourse on the home side is not big. The visitors one was closed. But you had two, not one, but two Little Caesars trucks, plus a stand just dedicated to Little Caesars. Now, I was in heaven, alright? I love Little Caesars, but even I have to admit, it's a lot of Little Caesars. Especially since there was only like one stand that was not Little Caesars. And then they had a couple other trucks too that were like ice cream or whatever. I don't know, it just felt a little over the top. We also could have probably just walked straight out onto the field. Now, probably we would have gotten arrested, but the gates just leading onto the field from the stands are just wide open. I mean, there are signs saying not to walk down there, but don't you think you could just close them or have a security guard there? Like, nobody was guarding it. We could have gotten pretty freaking far. We could have streaked. We could have been streakers. Just saying, I could have been a streaker that night. As far as in-game entertainment other than the game itself, I mean, the game was okay. I mean, Eastern had a lot of turnovers and Western was sluggish, but they capitalized on the turnovers and won the game 31-21. It was a fine game, I guess. But I was give credit to the team of people that puts together all the stuff that they do, like little games. Again, they had the promotion with Kroger. They had a couple things with that. They had like a sumo wrestling thing. They did like a pizza toss, and they did just a few other things like that, and which I always like. It keeps the very few fans that were there engaged, and it's kind of nice. Now, I will say their music choices were a little bit weird because they played so much Waka Flocka. Waka Flocka has one good song, and that's all they played. Telling me you only had the rights to play Waka Flocka? X for doubt. I'm not a giant Waka Flocka hater, but I can only take so much Waka Flocka. Okay. He doesn't have a whole lot of money anymore. And it's not a party in his world anymore. He's on Diddy's list. But overall, it's an alright stadium. I think for the $8 entry fee, it was worth it. It was worth it as a sports fan. It was a new stadium. I got to hang out with Ann Pomeroy and watch some football. I mean, it was a pretty fun night for $8 plus the 2.5 hour round trip drive. It wasn't bad. Would I do it again? Probably not. I don't see myself coming back to the stadium unless like MSU plays here or something, which I don't think will ever happen. The fact of the matter is that there's just nothing super interesting about this venue. I don't think I'm really even going to come back to this campus unless it's to see a basketball game. Because their basketball stadium, for what we could see, did actually look pretty cool. And I do want to try and come back and visit. But for football, I think that was enough for me. I took a good amount of it in, and it wasn't, it was pretty fun. And if you've never been here, I would recommend going. Don't make a gigantic cross-country trip for it. But if, if you're in the area and you want to go see a game, I think this is a good stadium to visit for a night. It's cheap, easy to get to and from. Concessions are relatively cheap. They'll keep you engaged if you're not too into the game. So I think it is worth it, but is it a premier college stadium? Absolutely not. It's indicative of the program that it's hosting. So it's gonna do it for Rynearson Stadium. My final score of the stadium, not the arena, it's just a stadium, would be 5 out of 10. I think middle of the road is pretty good for this one. It is not anywhere close to beating Waldo Stadium or the Central Michigan Stadium, in my opinion. But who knows where it'll fall in my MAC rankings. Because next year I do hope to knock out probably at least one, if not two more MAC venues. So we'll see if Eastern's better than any of those. It's definitely not better than the other two I've seen so far, though. Alright, guys. Anyways, that's going to do it for this review. I know it went a little long, but I did have a good amount to say. So, yeah. If you visited Rynearson Stadium, though, I'd love to know your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. Do you think I had an outlandish or outlier experience? Is this par for the course? Somewhere in between? I'd love to know. But also, I'd love to know your guys' thoughts on other stadiums that I should visit in the MAC, outside the MAC. I'd love to know in the comment section down below. And that's going to do it for this video, so stay tuned for much more amazing content, including more stadium reviews. Yes, there will be more. Probably not any time soon for football, but there will be more in the future. Don't worry. We got more planned. Lots more planned. So until next time, see you guys later. Goodbye.